Hello, everybody, and welcome back to session
Hello, welcome back. Happy Friday. Friday? Well, you'll see this on
on
Friday, so
Friday.
happy Friday. How are you? Anything you want to share?
Um, it's been a week, short week. It's a holiday.
True. Very slow for me.
Yeah. So I think everybody's out, at the lake or camping, traveling.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like very not busy for me this
Yeah,
week, which
same.
sometimes it's stressful, sometimes it's nice, but it's part of ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
For me, yeah, same. I think nothing too eventful this week. It just is a short week, like you said. Like it's already gonna be 4th of July tomorrow.
yeah.
Um, well, it's too late, but like keep your dogs indoors because they get scared.
I
Mine
know.
do. Well, I think they just lost their hearing, so they don't really get that scared anymore. They still hear them, but they don't react as much because yeah, they're a little older, so their hearing's kind of going.
Your dogs?
Yeah, they're 12.
Oh,
They're 12. We'll see how the cat does. We've never had a cat during 4th of July, so
oh yeah,
he probably doesn't care. He's so chill. Just lays on the floor because it's cool.
yeah. Not
Um,
just your pets, but also be aware of your human neighbors and friends. Like me, I'm terrified of
oh
fireworks.
yeah,
I don't like
last year she posted a video of a firework going off, and she was like, "Ah!" I
me.
remember, yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I don't
I don't know
remember.
if it was 4th of July, but you guys were hanging out, and it was one of those fireworks that shot up, and I don't know if it took you by surprise, but you
Oh
screamed.
yes, I
I remember
remember.
that.
I just don't like fire. I don't know. Me asusta.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not fun. That's why they're illegal. They're
Yeah.
illegal. But yeah, I think
We have new mics.
hopefully they're good. Hopefully they work. They're little and they're cute. They're a little
They're really
fluffy.
cute.
So hopefully these are better than the other ones. They're just not in our face, and we don't have to like be worrying about connecting the audio.
Uh huh.
So anything that you want to share outside of life? Anything that you've seen, social media, pop culture, any news?
Um. Honestly, I haven't been keeping up with the news. So I should, but I'm not sure what's going on.
So this morning I saw, and it wasn't even like today. It was a couple days ago. It's only the third, and I think this was released on the first about like um the U.S. Marshals having a mission. It's called "We're gonna save you too" or some "Find you too" or something like that. And they found 200 missing children. Um, Pretty scary. Like I didn't see it on the news. I had to go out of my way. Honestly, I saw it on TikTok. And then I was like, what? And then a comment said, wow, the news doesn't show any of this. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know any of this. And granted, I don't like watching the news either because it's very anxiety provoking.
Yes.
So, anything that I learn, I literally go and look for myself. And I looked it up, and it happened on the first 200 children. It was like a mission with a lot of states, a lot of departments, and they found 200 kids. The youngest was 5 months,
Oh my
and
God.
I think the oldest was like 15, a 15-year-old,
Like at a
and
warehouse or
just
like,
like in different places, yeah. Um, and like I think a lot of us know that endangered kids or like runaways,
at
right?
risk youth?
They're very vulnerable because they don't have much and they rely on other people, and so they're very much at risk for sex trafficking, which is a very real thing.
Yeah.
I think just because we don't see it or it's not in our life doesn't mean that it's not there, and it's unfortunately
Very
very common.
common.
I think at Casa Pacifica they have a lot of kids, or they did a couple years ago that they bought from like North California because there's a lot of stuff going on over there, so they just have to bring them across the state because they're at danger, and a lot of kids run away, and that's what they're exploited, which is really scary. Uh,
Very.
so there's also, I mean, triggering. Yes, these are things that are scary and that are happening. About the case where I think she was 12. And I don't know if she snuck out of the house or if she left. Either way, not her fault. Well, obviously, don't run away. Don't meet up with strangers that you don't know. But they killed her and they, essayed her for it said 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And so I think it also feeds into the stereotype that immigrants are criminals because they were from Venezuela. And that's like
Oh
a
my.
whole other thing, right? Where like a ton of Venezuelans are coming over,
Yeah.
and they've seen like a risk in crime, at least among that like those immigrants that are coming in, they're committing a lot of crimes because they think there's a lot of crime to begin with in their country. I don't know if you've seen like in New York, they gave them housing in a hotel or something, or no, they're expecting hotels because they're putting them in like places where they put homeless people, right? Which is like a bed, like the very
Yeah.
basic needs. And like, no, we don't want that. We want hotels.
No.
And they're all over New York, like in motorcycles, like just causing a ruckus, just like they're causing a lot of like disorderly, like a lot of disorderly conduct. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. um, and like at the end of the day, they are immigrants, and so it kind of just like lumps everybody into that group.
Yeah.
And I know this goes like there's a bigger discussion, but I didn't know that until I recently found out that yeah, they were from Venezuela, and well, they killed her. They put her like under a bridge or something,
Oh my
and the mom's just so like
gosh.
the mom, she presents to the media like very like thank you for being here. Like you could tell she's just like trying to be
Black.
really strong and like numb.
I bet.
It's really sad.
I
There's
had no
just a lot of that.
idea.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
this happened a couple weeks ago. I think it's just that recently, like they put everything together
Yeah.
and they're figuring all these things out.
That's really scary.
Y que había como ¿cómo se llama? You know Hooters,
Uh-huh.
like the restaurant. I forget what state they were in, but there was like a restaurant que se llama Ojos no sé qué, but it's like Hooters vibes, and they were there.
The kids?
The men.
Oh.
And so they're saying, oh, they were, estaban todos volados, and they were out there looking, y se la agarraron a la niña.
Niña. Literally niña.
And then, yeah, and then they found her.
That is so sad and scary.
Yeah. So that was the latest update that I saw as far as news and like what's going on in the world. That I think maybe a lot of us, avoid it for our own sanity, right? Because it's really sad. But I think something that came into my mind when I was reading that is the importance of teaching your children about their body.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it could be a really awkward topic, right? Because it's weird and sometimes we avoid it if we don't have to deal with it, right? Which is, I think,
I don't think it's weird. I think
uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. And I think through generations, we continue to label it as weird, that it kind of continues it in thinking that it is weird, but talking about body parts, talking about sex is very normal. We're human beings, and I think it's very important. I mean, to just know the proper terms.
Yeah, and I guess like the question comes in like when is the right age? Obviously, you're not going to tell your 2-year-old about everything that happens and how babies are made and all of that stuff, right? Also have to you have to consider the appropriate age.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that when they're little and when they understand their body, you need to say like this is your vagina, this is your penis, and nobody can touch it. Maybe just me when I'm changing, because some babies are still not, or some toddlers are still not potty trained, and they have to get their diaper changed. But teaching them who can touch them, who cannot, like people can't touch you, like this is your body, because God forbid, and it happens unfortunately, where it happens to younger kids that they get assaulted or violated, or and they don't know how to explain things.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what their body parts are, or they were never told like nobody's allowed to touch you and you can say no.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you parents to teach their children the proper terms, that their body's yours, who can touch them and who can't, that they can say no, to come to you when they feel like something's weird, and what to do in those situations.
And that's why it's important to have these conversations, because if you're already going into these conversations of body parts or sex being very taboo and weird, then the child is not going to feel comfortable to open up to you about, hey, so and so is doing this to me, or this is what's happening, because it's already very taboo. It's already kind of like a uncomfortable barrier there, that like they may not feel safe enough to approach you and let you know what's happening to them. And remember, this is the sad part, that people who have the most access to your children, or the most como se dice, like frequent access to your children are typically the
Yeah.
ones that, it's not necessarily always strangers. It's usually individuals who
Yeah.
have,
It's people that are close to them and have access to them, and again, have some sort of influence over them too,
yeah,
because a lot of the times, or at least, unfortunately, it comes with our job that we hear a lot about how these things happen,
yeah,
and they feel scared that if they say something that their family's going to be mad, or they're going to make that person look bad, right? Like, oh, that's so and so, and I don't want to make them look bad, or like sometimes they have high places in society or whatever it may be, and they want to almost protect them because they feel scared.
yeah. Or most often they're also threatened by the abuser, perpetrator, like, don't tell your mom or don't tell your dad because then they're going to get really mad at you. Or, they threaten the child to then provoke fear of opening up and being vulnerable.
Yeah. And so it's definitely scary. It's definitely you're shocked. I think every time I hear about that, it still gets me, right? When you hear that somebody has to go through that, and you also got to remember that little kids don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't know what's happening. Um they don't know why someone, or they don't really even know what the other person's making them do. They're confused. And I think when you're an adult, you kind of say, why didn't I say something? And I think
Yeah.
that's part of what makes healing from that kind of trauma a little bit more difficult, is that you kind of are really hard on your 2-year-old self, on your 4-year-old self, on your 12-year-old self, because you're like, how did I not? Duh, right? But you don't think the same when you're 6 and when you're 30
Because this
or
is your
20.
adult brain
Mm-hmm.
now viewing it like, and just thinking back, and you didn't have your adult brain when that was happening to you.
Yeah. So I think that's something that makes that's a huge, mm, I can't think of the word, difficulty that comes with trying to heal that kind of trauma, right? That you can't go back to your 6-year-old brain because you're not that anymore, right? And so, yes, unfortunately, a lot of the times it is family members, and sometimes kids try to say something, and then family doesn't believe that that person is capable of that, and um, they don't believe their kids, and then that also leads to consequences of your kids not wanting to tell you things anymore. So just make sure that you educate your children, that they know what's okay and what's not okay. Even I think, as far as some people now are saying, like, if you don't want to hug people, you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of that. Like, don't just expect a child to go and like hug you. Like, always ask and see how they're feeling, if they're up for a hug. Like, I get that sometimes it's like, no, pero tienes que imponer a que salude porque eres su tío, eres su tía. Like, we also, that's where we start stripping away the autonomy of a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we start telling a child, your judgment and your intuition is not valid.
Mm-hmm.
I understand sometimes some kids, right? Like, tal vez like, like throwing a berrinche or something. I feel like you would be able to kind of gauge like the difference. But if a child is really telling you like, I don't want to, it's okay. Maybe a high five or like a wave. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because I know, yeah, you're right. Because I think some people do make their kids hug every single person, and sometimes I don't even know them. And even sometimes I feel uncomfortable, like, oh, because I don't know the little kid or
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, bye. And they're short, so they hug you like down here. And you're like, okay, bye. But I also feel like, I don't, poor kid, they don't know me. They're hugging a stranger. So also tell parents it's okay. It's okay if he doesn't want
Yeah.
to hug me. It's not rude. I get it. He doesn't know me, or she doesn't know me. So yes, again, very important. Sometimes you could use little dolls to show, because that's what they do when unfortunately something like that happens. They do show like where.
Yeah.
And so you can show them a little dolls that it's okay, not okay. Unfortunately, sometimes if kids experience or see something, it's usually because if they do something like that, right? So if they're doing something sexual or, inappropriate that they shouldn't know, it's because usually they've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they've had that exposure. So beware, be wary, proceed with caution, maybe have them um, be more careful, or be more careful who you leave them with and what they're doing. because most of the times when kids are exposed, they act out on it too. Like they do it because they're just curious and confused, and they're still learning.
And that's why it's important to have these conversations at home.
Yeah.
With your kids, as uncomfortable as it may be, because maybe your parents didn't have it with you. So this is going to be you being kind of like the cycle breaker and changing this for, the trajectory of your family or families to come. But because of you, it's a powerful work that you have to do of breaking those patterns and really having these conversations that are needed.
Yeah. And I know you guys probably saw the quiet on set stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff was intense, and it also shows that they're not very heavily prosecuted.
Yeah.
Like that man was able to go work on sets at Disney Channel after he was
That's
accused
crazy.
at the Nickelodeon studio, and he's not supposed to live near schools. Like nobody's supposed to live near schools, and he lives like across. I think there's a school near him, and so just be careful because they're not like. Unfortunately, I would love to say that everybody's looking out for your kids, but they're not. So that's why parenting is very important. Be making sure that you are at the right place as a parent where you can pay that attention to your child, heal your traumas so that they don't go into your child. um I just It's interesting how we got here,
Yeah.
talking about this. But also say it's good that 200 children were recovered. um but sad, right, that that's happening, and I think it was a couple of months that it took them to do that.
It reminds me of that movie that came out, wasn't it like in March or April? Do you remember that movie?
I never watched it, but I think I know what you're talking about. Like the
Yes.
Angel one or something, like the Guardian, or I don't know, what is it called?
No me acuerdo cómo se llama. It was about trafficking kids.
Yeah, something about Angel. No, I don't know. I know which one you're talking about. I didn't watch it though. But also there's like a missing person in Ohio. They're saying that she's autistic and she's schizophrenic. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they can't find her.
It's actually all over California. I've been seeing it. Like other people.
I just saw it this morning. Yeah, Operation We Will Find You is a shining example of a result we can achieve when we unite in our mission to find missing children. So it was conducted from the following locations: District of Arizona, Phoenix, Glendale, Goodyear, Tucson, South Tucson, and Pima counties, Eastern District of California, San Joaquin, Stockton, and Sacramento. So like those cities. Sacramento was one of the ones that I had heard they had brought children from, or teenagers from over there to here.
Stockton made it to the list.
It's very I've heard it's very dangerous.
Have you been there?
No.
I have family there.
Is it dangerous? Yeah, scary. No shade, Southern District of Florida, Broward, St. Lucie, Martin, Palm Beach, and Miami. Western District of Michigan, Kent, Lake, Ingham, Ottawa, North Carolina, New Hanover, Brunswick, Harnett, Onslow, Pitwake, Johnston, Robeson, Cumberland, Sampson, Nash, and Pender. Southern and Eastern Districts of New York, District of Oregon, Multnomah, Washington, and Deschutes, and Portland, and Eugene, and the Warm Springs Reservation. So it was a lot of states.
Wow.
But I think they're all... No, North Carolina is pretty down there. That's crazy. Yeah, focus was to pull together resources to find critically missing children and to bring more attention to the epidemic of missing children in America. Yeah, that's scary.
Very scary.
Sex Offender Investigations Branch and the Behavior Analysis Unit and the Missing Child Unit began training personnel in the participating locations months before the operation to ensure that case selection, vetting, and all pre-operation requirements were met. That's crazy. Michigan. A 16-year-old female child was reported missing from the home in Edwards, Michigan by her legal guardian. Information obtained through interviews showed that child was likely with a 30-year-old adult male somewhere in the state of Indiana.
I also think like part of it also is the importance of monitoring children's social media.
Yeah, that's so tricky.
You don't know who your child is chatting with. Like they could have a profile and pretend to be another I don't know, teenager and then meet up and then bam, like it was a scam and it's, a full grown adult and now your child is missing.
I mean, and it's tricky because I know, at least in my sessions, I work with some teens, and I think there's just like this battle, this ongoing battle of parents wanting control and how much control is too much control,
Mm-hmm.
and how do parents gauge what to allow their kids to do, right? Because they'll always be their baby to your parents. They're always want to worry about you.
Yeah.
They're always going to want to look out to you, but it's also, as a parent, how much is too much, and how do you know they're sneaky? How do you know when to trust them? How do you build that trust, right? Because a phone nowadays is this everybody, all of us. That's our social connection. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I text you. That's how we stay connected. That's how we see what everybody. Again, not that it's always accurate on social media, right? But that's how you connect. That's like your network nowadays, especially during COVID. Like, a lot
Yeah.
of these kids didn't have face to face, so their phone became like their social connection. And so taking that away from their children is also like a big detrimental loss for them, because how do they keep up with their friends, and how do they
Mm-hmm.
connect? So I think it's just such a tricky topic.
Yeah.
I was taking, because I took my dad to a physical therapist, and they told me about a book that's like about a community making a pact to take all the phones away from their children.
Huh.
Like, or at least he was like presenting the idea
Uh-huh.
of, it's because you guys need to be in teams. Like, if you're going to take away their phone, then you guys need to find other parents that are going to be strong and take away their children's phones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, how does that happen? How can you do that? And what are you depriving this student of, or this child of? Because I get it, like connected and limitations, but I also, how do we find that medium where they're also not disconnected from their friends and their
I mean,
community?
maybe I'm old school, but I didn't get a cell. How old were you when you got
I
a
was
cell?
18.
Oh shoot, you
I
were
bought it
older.
when I started working.
Okay.
I bought a BlackBerry. It was like $400.
I so then I was younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
I got a cell phone for my 16th birthday. I remember my dad left it in my bed right there, and like Singular was the do you remember Singular?
Mm-hmm.
The little flip phone. Uh, but I remember that was something that they would do. Like it was a privilege to have a cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
and if I misbehaved, me lo quitaban. Um, I think that it's all about the trust. It's all about earning. If there's no trust, or if they're continuing to show that this teenager or whatever, like child, because now children, like literally
Yeah,
elementary
yeah.
school kids
I
now
think
have
that's too
cell
little.
phones.
I think, yeah, when you're maybe 12 even is too young for me, I think. But I agree. I think sometimes kids have access to so much online that
It's scary.
they know a lot before they should.
Yes.
Um, and I
And don't be
do.
fooled with even like YouTube. Like you may think like, oh, I put Peppa Pig or whatever it is, like, and my child's just watching this. No, there's been. I remember when I worked primarily with children. I remember there was YouTube videos of it looks like just a regular
Mm-hmm.
cartoon, but it's a very sexualized cartoon where kids are watching, yeah, Peppa Pig, but Peppa Pig is doing certain things she should not be doing, and kids are seeing and learning these things. But parents are just doing their own thing, and oh, pues está mirando la caricatura, whatever. No, pay attention. Pay attention to what your child is actually watching, because there's people that will create these type of stuff
So
out there.
weird. Like,
It's
it's
so
so weird.
weird.
Because even some people say I knew way more than I needed to when I was young. And it's true. They have access to a lot of stuff. Again, we're
Yeah.
talking about like the right age to introduce them to all of these things, but the internet introduces it to them sometimes. You also have to, like, what do you consume as a parent? What do you
Yeah.
listen to? What do you see? Because kids are also listening to the music that you listen to in the
Mm-hmm.
car on the way home. Kids are also seeing what you're watching on TV when you're just having a movie night. So they're there and they're present. And so also being aware of what you consume as a parent and what they also have access to. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But yeah, I was not. I was 18 when I got my phone, and I paid for it. But like, there also was not as much that we
But it
could
was
do on a
so
phone back then.
it was, yeah, we were so new to it. Like I feel like our generation, we were like transitioning to like more access to like internet. Like MySpace was barely
The
coming.
screens were this tiny, so there
Yeah.
was only so much that you could do. Like there weren't smartphones. They weren't
Hey,
like
but
a.
I remember getting creative though,
What would you do?
because telling my secrets. I I remember cuando me quitaban el teléfono because my parents would take my cell phone away. I was already probably like a junior, senior. And it wasn't like I was doing like terrible, terrible things,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe like talking back, like or whatever.
Yeah. I would talk back like crazy. And my mom's like, "Ay, se está revelando, girl." It's called having an autonomy, and you didn't realize that that's what that was. Like again, you go into different things, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
talking back is seen as very disrespectful.
I was always just very curious. Like, why? Why do I have to do that? Why are you asking me to do that? Like,
Uh-huh.
and my parents didn't like, probably till this day, they still don't.
No, nadie.
But I'm always like the preguntona, like, pero por qué? Like, I just need, not that I'm like challenging. I'm just curious. Like,
Yeah.
why? Um, anyways, when they would take my phone away, I remember when I would be talking, um, I would be, at that point, I was talking to my now husband.
That's crazy.
And we would be texting, and I'd be like, damn, we don't go to the same school. Like, I'm not going to see him. How are we going to keep in touch? Um, and we would get creative. I don't remember. I don't. I like. I just feel like when we were younger and internet was like coming about, we just knew so much about like okay, those different codes to your background from MySpace.
Oh yeah, I knew
and
that.
like copy and paste all these like codes or whatever. I don't know how we figured it out, but somehow we were able to, like, it would be through my email but his cell phone, and we would text that way. I don't know how, like, I don't know.
Maybe it's like Google, like the Google voice now, because sometimes when you get a text, you get it as an email, and you can reply on the email, and it sends it as a text to them.
Okay, that's exactly what we were doing. And I still have
like
that,
a WhatsApp kind of thing.
yeah. So like kids get creative.
You still have the text messages?
I do.
That's so funny. I actually sent Yvette like a months ago at this point, when we were in grad school and I didn't have her number yet. We would like email, and I was like, just give me your number, and she just gave me her number.
Oh, that's so funny. Have you changed your number since high school?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Wait, since high school? No, no creo. Because my brother has the number after me. Like his number is 77 and mine's 76.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Like my best friend también tiene the same number from 8th grade. I remember she was the only friend that had a phone. We were like, oh my god, she had like a little flip phone también. And I was like, Diana, I'm only calling you for emergencies. Don't worry. Like
we couldn't talk, remember, until after 9.
Oh my god, y me acuerdo me llegó un bill, literally, like this, because AT&T or whatever it was at that singular maybe felt the need to print out every single text message I sent her.
Waste of paper.
And I was like, whoa, oh my god. I was like, Diana, it was a little box, dude. They sent a little box. What was the need? And weren't they free? It was like if you talked with somebody that was within the same like network, it was free after like 7 or something. No?
Yeah. But something I think like prior to that, it was like 25 cents per text message or something.
Yeah, if si te pasabas.
I remember because we would go to Mexico every December for like a month. And I remember my sisters and I got in big trouble. These were my older sisters and I. Big trouble, especially one sister.
¿Cuál? I'm just kidding.
Sandra. She got in big trouble because somehow her bill was like over 500. Ella se quedó longer though, I think.
In Mexico?
Like, or maybe this was like summer. I think that's why it was a little longer because she stayed after, and her cell phone bill was like literally like $500, almost $600. It was crazy. Like, dang. How now it's like unlimited. What is it, like calls or text messages? Like before it was data. Not like that.
That's how when I went to my first like overseas vacation, I thought I had unlimited data. Me salió como de $600 el bill recently. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I texted Diana through my dad's phone. I would be at home because I didn't have a phone when I was until the senior year that I started working.
You bought your own?
I bought a BlackBerry. I don't think I could type with them now because they're tiny.
Yeah.
But those were cool.
Girl, if we were able to type with the little
no, pero ahorita con estas uñas, no. But yeah, I couldn't because they're tiny.
Yeah.
My friend, I think she's like, I still have mine.
I have all my old phones
That's
too.
so cool.
Just for the pictures and like the text messages.
I remember there was one that you would like open and then it would flip.
The Sidekick?
Oh, I wish I had that. No, I think it was called like the Envy or something. Like you would open it and then the screen would flip, but then it would like go back to like a solid phone. No, I wish I had the Sidekick. I think that was way before the time that we had cell phones though. I remember it was in Nelly's video though.
Way before?
I think we were too young to have a phone back then. Oh no, my friend had one.
I think I was gonna say because
yeah, my friend had one. You're right.
My friend had one too, and he was the only one in high school. He's a year older.
I want a Sidekick.
And everybody would like, oh, can I use your Sidekick? Yeah, you saw him was like, what were we really checking? Just email?
You know what? I really was into like the blingy phone cases.
Oh, me too. The little rhinestones.
See, there's entonces. Everybody like, oh yeah, she's the one with the extra phone cases.
That's so funny.
You know how it's in the Nelly video, my boo? Mm-hmm. Okay.
They were using the Excel.
Yes, they're like Kelly's waiting for a text and she's on Excel, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted a Sidekick. I still want one. Do they still make them?
I think I heard that they were gonna try to do a comeback.
I want one.
Yeah.
There's also these ones, have you seen que se abren? And then you could fold them.
Oh, is it like the new razors?
I think it's like a Samsung. It's like así, you can open it and it shows like flat, solid, and then you can close it.
I think I've seen those like the new razors, right?
I don't know if they're razors. I don't think they're razors. I think it's like a completely different one, but I kind of like it because the cases are really cute.
Yeah.
You carry it like a little purse. It's so cute. ¿Qué te iba a decir? Oh, so back to, okay. Last thing I'm going to say about child abductions and missing children.
I know we like took
I'm on TikTok live claiming shit and stuff. I claim so many little.
Are you still doing your lapicera?
Every once in a while. I'm like, do I have one in there? So no, there was this lady that was talking about, she was like in a warehouse and she was like, I'm just cleaning out what I have. So like, if you guys want this as $1 or whatever. I didn't claim anything, but she was saying, oh, it's raining. Hold on. She had to move her phone in. And then at the same time, like ambulances were passing by, and somebody commented, "Oh, I thought the police was coming." And she's like, "No, I live in this area is very ghetto." She said, and she's like, "There's a lot of missing children here." She's like, and most of them are Latinos. And she's like, and I think she said she lived in Virginia. I was like, oh my god, that sucks. And she's like, but it's very wealthy here, like founding fathers wealthy, so that's why they don't really pay a lot of attention over here. She's like, there's a lot of missing Latino kids.
And honestly, it can really happen in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Have you had any experience with that?
I have. I think I shared.
Have you talked about it? Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about it next session, or something, some other time. But
yeah,
I could have been.
That's terrifying, dude. That's scary. But also say, take care of your babies. Teach them, even though they're babies and they think they're grown, they still need you. They still need your guidance. So keep looking out for them. And again, if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want us to like talk about a little bit more, you can leave it in the comments or send us a message or whatever. Because I know this is very broad.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
If you need support, resources, feel free. And also, we'd like to open it to the community. If you guys are from near where we live and you guys would like to, I don't know, you have a story to share or your testimony, or you have a business and you want to come and tell us a little bit of how you got started or educate us a little bit about what you do, please feel free to send us a email or a DM, and we can talk and see if maybe you guys can join.
We have an extra mic for you. I bought 4 of these babies, so let us know. So I guess that's where we will end. Sorry if it was triggering for anybody, but I think it's just something that unfortunately happens and we need to be open about. So Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back, and we'll see you in the next session.
Bye.